Have you ever noticed someone in your life who never seems to say, "I'm sorry," no matter what happens? Maybe it's a friend, a colleague, or even a family member. You'd expect a simple apology, a tiny acknowledgement, but it never comes. And somehow, it makes everything feel heavier, unresolved, tense, frustrating. You might wonder, are they just rude? Or is there something deeper going on in their mind? Today, we're diving into the psychology of people who never apologize. By the end of this video, you'll understand why they act this way, and more importantly, how to protect your own emotional energy around them. First, let's get one thing straight. People who never apologize aren't always bad people. In fact, many of them are highly intelligent, sometimes charming, and often aware of how their behavior affects others. The thing is, their mind works differently. Their brain has learned to protect itself in ways that make apologizing feel almost impossible. For some, it's a need to maintain control. Saying sorry, admitting fault, or showing vulnerability might feel like losing power. They've learned that mistakes equal weakness, and weakness is dangerous. So instead of apologizing, they rationalize their actions, shift blame subtly, or ignore the situation entirely. For others, it's pride and self-image. They've spent years building a persona, confident, composed, untouchable. Apologizing could shatter that image. Even if they feel regret inside, the cost of admitting it out loud feels too high. It's like their inner voice says, better to hold on to your image than to heal the moment. Then, there's the third group, the fear-driven non-apologizers. They might have grown up in an environment where vulnerability was punished. Maybe mistakes were met with anger, shame, or ridicule. For them, apologizing feels unsafe. It triggers anxiety, not growth. And so, they unconsciously avoid it at all costs. But here's the twist. People who never apologize often crave connection, respect, or love, just like anyone else. The difference is their psychological wiring makes traditional apologies feel impossible. And that's what makes their behavior so confusing, so frustrating, and so fascinating. Asterisk. So, what happens when someone never apologizes? On the surface, it might seem like a small thing, a missed sorry here or there. But over time, it builds tension, frustration, and even resentment in their relationships. Friends start to feel unseen. Partners feel unheard. Colleagues feel trapped. And all of this happens because the simple act of acknowledgement never occurs. Asterisk psychologically, people who refuse to apologize often live in a state of internal defense. Their mind prioritizes protecting self-image over repairing emotional bonds. Every potential apology becomes a mental negotiation. If I admit fault, will they respect me less? Will I look weak? The fear of being diminished outweighs the benefits of reconciliation. Asterisk interestingly, this behavior often signals deep insecurities beneath the surface. A person who refuses to apologize might appear confident, even arrogant. But internally they may constantly fear judgment, rejection, or being devalued. Apologizing isn't just admitting they were wrong, it's exposing their inner vulnerability. And for some, that's terrifying. Asterisk, then there are those who use manipulation or control unconsciously. If they consistently avoid apologies, others around them begin to adjust their behavior, sometimes avoiding conflict entirely. Without saying sorry, they create a subtle power imbalance. The people who are wronged start bending, excusing, or overcompensating to keep the peace. And without realizing it, this reinforces the pattern. No apology is needed because everyone else adapts. Asterisk now. Let's address a key point. People who never apologize aren't incapable of empathy. Deep down, many feel guilt or regret. But instead of expressing it, they might redirect it internally or onto someone else. Their mind convinces them that the relationship can survive without acknowledgement. Sometimes it does, but often at a hidden cost. Trust erodes quietly, and emotional closeness suffers. Asterisk, here's the part most people don't see. Avoiding apologies is rarely about cruelty. It's a protective mechanism. It's how their brain learned to survive emotionally, especially if they grew up in environments where admitting fault was dangerous. But while it may protect them, it also creates a barrier between them and the people they care about. Asterisk understanding this changes everything. When you see someone refuse to apologize, it's not always about being arrogant or mean. It's often a reflection of fear, learned behavior, and a complex mix of pride and self-protection. Knowing this helps you respond in a way that doesn't drain your energy or trigger frustration. Asterisk in the next part. We'll dive into how to handle people who never apologize. Practical strategies that protect your peace while interacting with them without conflict or resentment. Asterisk. Now that we understand why some people never apologize, let's talk about how to deal with them. This is where most people get frustrated, drained, or trapped in endless cycles of conflict. The truth is, you cannot force someone to apologize, but you can protect yourself and respond in ways that maintain your emotional well-being. Asterisk 1. Shift your expectations. Asterisk first. Stop expecting an apology. People who never apologize often aren't going to change overnight. Sometimes they may never admit fault. Accepting this reality is not giving up. It's choosing peace over frustration. When you lower your expectation of external validation, you reclaim control over your emotions. Asterisk 2. Focus on your boundaries. Asterisk, you don't need their acknowledgement to assert your own boundaries. If someone repeatedly hurts, disrespects, or manipulates you, communicate clearly what is acceptable. Say things like, "I won't continue this conversation. If it's going to be disrespectful, or I need space to process this before we talk." Further, boundaries are more powerful than apologies because they protect you regardless of whether the other person admits fault. Asterisk. 3. Avoid emotional overreaction. Asterisk. Non-apologizers often thrive on creating emotional reactions. When you respond calmly instead of reacting impulsively, you maintain the upper hand. Your peace cannot be bought with guilt or manipulation. Remember, the less you engage in anger, the less control they have over your emotions. For decide when to distance yourself. Sometimes maintaining a relationship with someone who never apologizes isn't worth the emotional cost. That doesn't mean you hate them or want to punish them. It's about self-preservation. Limit your interactions, protect your energy, and choose relationships where accountability exists. Asterisk. 5. Recognize the hidden patterns. Asterisk. People who refuse to apologize are often shaped by childhood experiences, pride, or fear. Understanding this doesn't excuse hurtful behavior, but it helps you avoid personalizing it. Their inability to apologize is about them, not you. You are not the problem, their internal struggle is. Asterisk 6. Lead by example, not expectation. Asterisk. Sometimes the best response is to model accountability yourself. Apologize when you're wrong, communicate clearly, and show empathy. Over time, this can encourage reflection, but do it without expecting a return apology. This approach allows you to maintain integrity while staying emotionally detached from their reactions. Asterisk. Ultimately, the psychology of people who never apologize is complex. It's a mix of fear, pride, and learned behavior. Understanding it helps you stop taking it personally and teaches you how to interact with clarity and strength. You may not be able to change them, but you can change how you respond. Asterisk. So the next time someone refuses to say "I'm sorry," remember, their behavior is a reflection of their psychology, not your worth. Protect your peace, set boundaries, and focus on relationships that give you mutual respect. That's where real emotional freedom lies. Asterisk.